All right, let's get this going. My name's Robert Fleming, also known as Axeplosive on the interwebs, and today I'm here to tell you about how I was sent to prison at 9 years old. So we have to go way back, and I'm talking like precursor, back when your teacher rolled out the TV cart in the middle of the classroom, dropping some Bill Nye Science Guy in your 3rd grade class. Picture this, little old me. I think I was a pretty cute child. I was nice, I was quiet, I was quirky. I probably ate bugs at some point. I don't know why I didn't mention that. It's not necessarily important to the story. Nevertheless, 3rd grade, myself and my family, we got Papa Fleming up here. That's my dad and my mom. And then there's me, oldest child. They'll never confirm that I'm the favorite, but I have my sneaking suspicions from time to time. And then I have 2 twin little brothers. Super cool guys, also stream on Twitch, and my parents were both teachers. So that means that they have to be creative in every sort of facet and fascination the world has to offer, so they can continue to help provide a super awesome education for their kids. I'm biased, but I think they're some of the greatest teachers in the entire world. Now, my mom was a 5th grade science teacher for how long ago? For a while at that point. And so she, being a lover of science and passing on that passion to her kids, we went to a rock shop to where she was going to get geodes and rocks as a graduation or a student gift, or I don't necessarily know the reason. She wanted to give the kids something really cool to look out for. And I am nuts for anything that comes to geology. I don't care what Big Bang Theory says. Sheldon may call him out, but I have such a passion for it. The rocks are so cool, and how the whole world works, and it's so neat. And, I love rocks. So anyway, we went to this mom and pop rock shop. It had, I think, been like Fredericksburg, Texas, somewhere way out there. And it's just this hole in the wall, rustic. I'm talking, imagine in your head, take with me, the picturesque grandpa and grandma rock shop. Whatever that image you have in your head, that was exactly what it looks like. And it was so cute. I gotta give my parents props. Allowing 3 children under the age of 10, so myself at 9 and 2 6-year-old twins running around a rock shop is as close to putting a bull in a china shop as you can quite get. But we did great. We killed it out there. And by killed it, I mean we didn't break anything. It was fascinating. There were just rocks everywhere. You had amethyst on the right, emeralds on the left, geodes quite literally all over the place. It was so cool. And I can't tell you how awesome that rock shop was. We were running around, oh, look at this thing, like, look at this fossil. We were going nuts. And as scholastically and responsibly as 6 and 9-year-olds can get. To reward our super awesome behavior, my mom and dad were like, hey, go ahead, get yourself a rock. Just whatever rock that's in those little tiny little capsules, you know, that you would get from the little vending machines. They had a bunch of little rocks like that. Like, go ahead and get yourself a rock and you can take it home. We'll pay for it. Like, oh, that's amazing. This is the greatest time of our entire lives. I will never forget this moment. So we get our rocks. I don't even quite remember what I even got. It's probably something sparkly and shiny. I haven't changed much in that regard. If I still see a rock that's super shiny and sparkly, I have to pick it up. But that drive to the sparklies, we'll get to that in just a second. So anyway, we get our rocks. We're hyped. We're in there. We get in the back. I get in the very back. I think it was the big red Suburban, I think at the time. It was a long car. It was from Timbuktu to Manhattan to get to the other side. And I'm sitting in the very back. I'm super jazzed. I'm hanging out, playing with a rock. I don't even know what else I was doing. You know, I'm just kind of sitting there. Something didn't feel right. So I'm trying to figure out what it is for the life of me. And I reach into my pockets, just, you know, nonchalantly trying to figure out what's going on with my 9-year-old life. It's causing me such distress. And I felt something. To which, of course, if you feel something in your pocket that shouldn't be there, you pull it out. And it was a rock that I don't remember. I will swear to the court that I do not remember touching that rock. But somehow this metamorphic rock ended up in my pocket, and I was sitting there perplexed. I'm 9 years old. How did this come to be into my possession? I was, and still quite fathom to this day how that had occurred. But while I'm sitting there observing this rock, trying to figure out like how the universe has blessed me with this unprotected stone that has now been procured into my investment in my phalanges in my hands. My mother had then taken the moment to turn around and check up on her kiddos, and well, it went down a little bit like, are you kids doing all right out there? Darren, turn the car around. Robert's a thief. A thief. First off, that was maybe the first time I can ever remember my father's name being called out. I for always thought that his name was just Dad. That was it. No, Darren was busted out. Instead of you being called by your middle name, it's a higher authority also being called by a name thought to have been forgotten or forbidden. And to which, if you know that the higher authority's secret names being called upon, you know yours is shortly to come. I cannot explain to you how much my heart dropped. I'm talking, it plummeted. I hit the core of the the earth and back. It was this wretched feeling. It was disgusting. I would never have stolen anything at that time, at least I can think of. And to be sitting there, caught red-handed with this rock just sitting there. And I'm perplexed. I'm still trying to figure out how the rock ended up in my pocket in the first place. And now to see my loving mother distraught, horrified, and absolutely offended that her oldest son had stolen from your run-of-the-mill grandma and grandpa rock shop out in Fredericksburg, Texas. Oh, my heart. It was bad. Sure enough, we were already 25 minutes out. How my dad had taken that U-turn that aggressively, I do not know to this day. But we were going one way and then we're going the other way. So we're going and I'm sad. I have been caught with what in my 9-year-old opinion's eyes and in my perspective, a dead body's in my hands. I don't know what happened, officer. He just ran into the knife. That was the feeling I was having at that moment. It was the worst. So the entire way we go back, my mom's already, being a teacher, she's already passing paper and a pen and telling me to write an apology letter in cursive, of course, because 3rd grade at the time, that was the thing to get, which I don't even know if kids even still learn cursive. If they do, congrats, you'll get to use it in signatures. But you knew when your mom was telling you to have to do something in cursive, it was important. Like you had to either you had to find a way to change your identity at 9 years old and move to another country or just give up. You're done. It's it. And that's kind of where I was at. I didn't have the luxury of escaping the vehicle going 65 miles per hour. We were probably going pushing 100. My dad was furious. My mom has a level of being able to describe her feelings very efficiently. She is able to explain to you, and it's rapid fire. I'm incredibly disappointed in you, Robert. You're setting a terrible example to your brothers, who are quiet as children's church mice. Just sitting there, dumbfounded, big old wide eyes, like, oh, we're not gonna have an older brother after this. And I'm thinking the exact same thing. I'm just sitting 2.5 feet back, just figuring out, like, all right, so first off, my New Balance tennis shoes will go to Sean. My first edition Pikachu card goes to my best bud, Adam Haker, up in Summit Elementary. I'm planning my own will in the back. I'm dead. I'm mortified. This is how my life ends. Through tear-stained eyes, I've written out the most heartfelt and quite honestly, the greatest example of 3rd grade literature I'm pretty sure ever existed on this entire planet. And it was eloquent. I signed at the bottom, had little teardrops staying right. I made sure to have my little teardrop go right next to my name so they really know I felt absolutely horrible about what I had just done. Anyway, we arrive at the shop. We're there. This is the time and the atonement to come. We didn't have cell phones at the time, so they didn't know we were coming. They just thought like, oh, hey, they want to buy more rocks from us. But no, my mom brings me out of the car, pushing me forward to meet my maker. And it's just grandma and grandpa up there. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Just handing that letter, basically just committing myself to their punishment, whatever it may be. And they read it over and they were very stone-faced. Still to this, I can see their face. They're just stalwart. And it's like, I'm very disappointed in you, son, but I appreciate that you came forward and you admitted to this and I accept your apology. But you know there's going to have to be consequences. And you know my mom and dad were on top of that, like, let's go. Like, he's already here. Let's see what he can do. So, as anyone would do, commit your 3rd grade son to menial labor. I was out there pushing rocks. They had me moving this. Basically, it's what I've been described to other people who've been through the military of just picking up one sandbag and just moving it 5 feet that direction and just dropping it. So doing the 9-year-old equivalent, just picking up big rocks, moving them, helping make up the path. I'm still horrified. I feel better that I've apologized. We know we all feel better when we were younger to admitting it sometimes, but still, it still hurt. And I was going through and I was there. I'm pretty sure the sentence, we were out there 3 weeks. But anyway, an hour passed and I had the saddest expression that they couldn't handle it anymore. So they said, all right, so the grandmother comes up to me. I don't even know if she's a grandmother. Anyway, we're calling her grandmother. So Granny comes over and she says, young man, I'd like to have you come with me to the shop out in the back. Yes, ma'am. She could have told me to go and procure a lost diamond in the hidden temple of Aznabul. She could have told me to assemble the silver monkey of the legends of the hidden temple. I would do anything to have this guilt leave my body. I needed it out. So she takes me out to the back, and this is by far one of the most memorable moments of my entire life. She gets this disgusting little brown rock sphere, and I'm so mad I couldn't find it. I've tried finding it earlier. She gets this little round rock, and she says, now, young man, you are a lot like this rock. You're rough on the outside, and it's, I think it's rough on the outside. It might not look too good, to which I would like to say, harsh. But then she walks over to the rock saw. But when you look in the inside, she slides the geode through it and then cracks open this majestic piece of earth magic I've ever seen. And she said, you are beautiful and one of a kind on the inside. And it was the most Hallmark moment I've ever experienced in my entire life. And I will fight anyone who says otherwise. It was this geode had this blood red scarlet inside. And I'm pretty, and if you have geodes, you don't know what's on the inside. And it was just beautiful, one of a kind. It's still at my parents' house right now. And it was just this awe-defining moment in my 9-year-old life. Like, this is it. She is an actual angel, and I have just been graced with this incredible moment in my entire life. This is amazing. I then hug her. I go and hug the old guy, and I'm feeling great. I have learned so much from this day. Like, I will never commit this sort of sin ever again. I was feeling proud. I was on that high horse. They said they were waving goodbye. It felt really great. It was amazing. On the drive back, I'm feeling great. Like, this is awesome. But here's something else I didn't quite know about. See, having teachers that were both parents, they have very creative ways to create disciplinary actions without leaving bruises. So we get home. I'm elated. Hallmark moment. Like I'm telling you, dude. Angels are still singing out in the background. Like I am on cloud 9. We get inside. Sean goes in. Travis goes in. My parents stop me outside. They turn me around. I should have known. Eye level with 9-year-old Robert. They say, if you're going to live your life as a thief, we're going to treat you like a thief. And I was dumbstruck. I didn't know what that meant. Like, what do you mean? I moved the rocks. You saw me sweating. You saw the tears. I did the letter, right? You know. What came next, I could not describe or wish upon anyone else in the future. I had to then stand outside in the hallway and watch as my parents created a prison cell in the confines of what used to be my room. They took everything away. They take away my dresser. They start getting rid of my toys. They took away accessories throughout the entire room until all I was left with in my 9-year-old prison was nothing. I'm talking, it was as blank as a sheet of paper. There was nothing out there. I had a bed, the box frame it came with, and silence as far as the eye could see. The defining trait of who I was by the stuff I had, as I'm sure anyone who is a child or has ever dealt with a child would also agree with. So when they took all of that, I felt like I was nothing. I was mortified. The wardens explained to me that I was to stay in my room all day. And this is still early in the morning. We're talking 9:30. They said I was to stay in my room. Should I ever wish to go to the bathroom, I would have to knock on the door, wait for the warden to walk on over and escort me 2.5 feet over into the side bathroom adjacent to my room. To which then when I'm finished doing my little 9-year-old business, I knock on the door, escort me 2.5 feet away, and I'm back in the cell. I was still fed and well hydrated. They brought me 3 plates of hot dogs. I think I had mustard. No, I didn't have mustard. Just 3 hot dogs, water at each turn, and I think a piece of bread as well. And it was prison rules. That was it. I was looking for the biggest guy in the yard. It was just me, so I didn't really have anything else to do. My parents then also really wanted to really dig it in there that this is what prison is going to be like for you. A very PG version, of course. They went to Sean and Travis to say, you guys want to go have a water fight outside Robert's room? To which any younger sibling seeing your elder sibling being punished in this way, oh, you just want to revel in that. And I'm out here, face pressed up against the glass, just watching my family have the greatest time of their entire life while I can't have anything. I was in the dumps. It was awful. This is it. I had already threatened. We've all done this. We've all had threatened at some point, I'm going to call CPS. And my parents, being a little bit tougher, being raised a little bit tougher, said, try us. If you think this is bad, you don't even know how the bad kids have it. Well, if this is all I got going on my side, I don't want it to get any worse, so I'm just gonna kind of stay where I'm at. The entire time, I'm just pacing around my room, probably wearing a circle in the carpet at the time, and it was just it was bad. I have never felt so bad in my entire life. I remember at one point though, somehow I had stowed away a little treat for myself that I didn't quite know about. So probably hour 3, I take the bed off. I'm looking for something. I'm looking for anything to play with or to be with, so to not go 9-year-old stir crazy. And I pull aside the this wooden plank that was on the bed frame, and there, dusty and disheveled, was an old Digimon Agumon plushie just sitting there. And I was never as overjoyed as I was when I found that. Like, I have something. I clutched the thing, I dusted it off, blew it off as best I could, and I just held it close, and I just prayed for the sentence to be over. The wards would come by, just like a real prison. I'd stow away Agumon as quickly as I could and let the warden inspect the room. They didn't go around trashing or thrashing anything, but just checking to make sure I didn't somehow conjure new friends to play with. Eventually, the day passed. I clutched with my little Agumon. I'm not sure if I had a pillow. I just bundled up all my thoughts and cares and kind of cushioned my head, and I slept through the rest of the night. And the next day, I was then reintroduced to society, and I got my stuff back. It was probably one of the most character-defining moments of my life. At least on a morality scale, I never stole anything at that moment ever again. It was so ingrained into my character, in my soul, to never touch anything that wasn't mine, at least that I can remember. I don't know whatever happened to that Agumon plushie, but I gotta say, it helped me. It saved. I may have gone even more crazy without Agumon by my side. But I learned that day, don't steal, don't get caught. Don't let your teacher parents who've been raised harder than the rocks you apparently stole find out or come close to discovering that you have done anything wrong. But all that to say, I've pretty much turned out to be one of the greatest children they ever had from that point. No problems they had with me ever since then. I was just, whew, coasting. I was heavenly child for at least, maybe 2.5 days. So the lesson to be learned, don't steal. Stealing's wrong. And if you're caught, your parents might turn your room into your own personal prison cell. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you really liked it, go ahead and throw down a like. If you feel like wanting to watch more of these videos, hopefully in the future, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notification next to it. And hopefully you'll be alerted to the next one that comes out. And if you want to go ahead and have a conversation, hit me up on Twitter. I'm always there reading everyone's comments. I'd love to respond and get to talk to you guys. So again, thank you all so much for watching and listening to my crazy story. If you guys have any other stories of how your parents punished you for stealing or caught you in the act, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. I would love to see what everyone else had to go through in their childhood, because I can only imagine that my experience only scratches the surface of what the rest of the world has gone through. So again, thank you all, and I hope you have a great day. See you guys next time.